Well, good morning. Yesterday we talked about the possibility of Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley being the presidential candidates for both parties this year. I think that'd be pretty cool. But one of the things when you look at the Republicans that you have to understand, everybody focuses on Donald. He's out there. He's the one that's saying these things. He's the one that's getting the cameras focused on him. There's a group of people that are writing his platform that need to be studied. And there's a lot of other states involved. I mean, something about the I didn't read the whole article. I just caught the headline where Indiana is doing something against the teachers that Trump wants to do. So I don't know exactly. I have to go back and reread that, and I'll do that later. Maybe tomorrow you'll see it. Maybe you won't. Depends on my memory. But the it's very important because you see this a lot with these people that are Trump supporters, and they're saying that's how the abortion. Trump didn't jump up and down about abortion. He wasn't yelling and screaming about it too much. He knew what an issue that was, and it was an unpopular issue. But he let his little minions go to the Supreme Court, and you know, that Supreme Court was bought and paid for. So uh, that's one thing. And you see these guys that what they do, and there's the danger. You're going after education. DeSantis has been banning books for a long. His government's been banning books. I've read all his banned books, most of them anyhow. If they interested me, he banned 1984. He banned oh, the New Gods and some other books that I love by various people that I'm drawing a blank on right now. But they were just books. They were good stories. I didn't at the time. I mean, Orwell's 1984 at the time. I never applied to the world today. I applied it to a movie I saw. Oh, that's just like a movie I saw. But now it's different. You apply it in a different way. Is it dangerous? Only if that's the way you want to. If that's the way you want the world to be. If you, if not, it's just a good book. You know, it makes people aware of possibilities. Literature does that. It opens up possibilities of everything. Some good, some bad. Uh, I've never believed that. I think banning books. What did they ban? One of the books that was banned when I was a kid, Lady Chatterley's Lover. I gotta tell you what I went through to get a hold of that book. When I was what? I think I was like 13, 14 years old at the time. It just seemed if you didn't want me to read it, I had to read it. And that's the way I saw people my age and whatnot, kids my age, reacting back then. If you said to them, you can't do that, and that's all you said to them. You didn't explain why or not, and I'm very much like that. But you never explained to them why you shouldn't do that or anything like that. They wanted to go do it, and they did. They did it. Alcohol was an example of what the whole world did that in the 20s when they had prohibition. So people that couldn't drink were not, that didn't like to drink were not to drink, just because it was an unpopular law. Um, my personality is that if you tell me no, you don't give me a reason for the no, I get pissed. I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do. Give me a reason. I may disagree with the reason, but we can discuss the reason. Just don't say no to me unless you want to fight. But as I'm going trying to, as what I'm trying to say here is that the danger doesn't just lie with Trump. It lies with I don't want to. The Megas would be a good example of it. The way they think and what they want to do is not the way I would like to live my life. What's left of my life, you know. Um, I don't know how much of an effect a Trump election will immediately have on me down here. And it's more about my family than it is me. I have family. I have some family still left in America. Uh, Apparently, it's growing, uh, which I'm happy about. Um, Very happy for everybody involved. I just fear that you say democracy isn't any good. I don't know about that. I mean, it does lead to a certain amount of corruption, but a government leads to a certain amount of corruption because government controls things, and where there's control, there's corruption. So I mean, what? You think because the Russians go out and shoot people, it's any better? You look at the Russian mafia and the power they have within the country. It's just like down here. You look at the cartels, the narcos, and the control that they have down here in Colombia, where I live. It's similar to what it's like when you watch the Sopranos or The Godfather. You see that part of what makes them successful is their ability to corrupt the politics around them. And The Godfather, I saw all that. I lived next to Newark at that time period that The Godfather, the Sopranos movie rather, was made about. Okay, I lived there. I lived next to Newark. I actually saw the house which they supposedly Soprano family lived in. I found it after I think 2 years of researching. And it's you don't see anything when you get there because by the time they won't let you in the area when you're filming. But I mean, I saw all that corruption going on. Everybody knew about it. It wasn't a big secret. It's not a secret down here. I mean, Escobar wasn't a secret. The whole world knew about Escobar. I mean, that was a fault that Al Capone had, and that's what made Lucky Luciano a better leader for the organized crime families because he was more of a politician, just as ruthless, just as murderous, but he had a political sense about him that made it easier for him to manipulate government around him. I mean, look at what happened. They had him in jail during the beginning of World War II, and he made a deal to help them get into Sicily, help the Allies invade Sicily. And what they did is they screwed him, but eventually he got to go home. And that's where he ran, and because they screwed him, he ran heroin and whatnot into the United States up until the day he died. But governments don't keep their promises. That's the other side of the coin, and you can't believe a president. In Trump's case, it's one of the reasons he wants to be like a dictator. And it's possible with this thing, which I wasn't aware of 40 years ago, these political proclamations that a president's allowed to make, and they automatically become law. And it's the subtleties of those that influence the other laws that are made by Congress and whatnot that end up screwing people. It's like I give you an example of something. It was actually somebody I admired. Can't remember his name right now, and I admired the guy. Anyhow, he was a senator, and people were complaining about cable prices and everything else, and what was going on. And he put this cable bill in. It was supposed to reduce the cost of cable TV. I mean, back then it was a lot of money, but it wasn't really, in today's standards, it was pennies. But my cable bill went from like $10 to almost $100 within about 2 years because of that bill. Didn't help me. They put riders on these. They're called riders. Riders will screw everything up. Nobody pays attention to them. You see the headline, uh, budget bill. Okay. You don't see they don't tell you about what the riders are. That's how every politician gets a little piece of action for his so-called home state, but more like it's a little piece of action for himself. Anyhow, today's Tuesday. Tomorrow morning, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. Lucy's going for surgery tomorrow. Lucy, oh, she was here. She left. Lucy has a tumor in her mouth. I think it's the left side of her mouth. I'm not sure, and it's preventing her from eating regular dog food right now. And the deal I was told is they have to take it out. They're going to do a biopsy when they take it out, and then we'll go from there. If it's nothing, fine. If it's malignant, then it has to be. May have to go through some chemotherapy, and this is where I don't think the world's a real fair place, where young people, young animals, whatever, get struck with these horrible diseases, and old grumpy people like me, we're still walking around. I think it's like, or even better yet, an animal, a destructive human being, and a despicable person, and Donald Trump is still walking the streets, and people that are good people and whatnot are suffering horrible diseases and whatnot. All right, so I might wait till tomorrow afternoon when she comes back and I know something, which I probably won't, but um, if not, maybe in the morning, maybe not. All right, you guys have a good day.